Close your eyes and picture Earth. Cities, roads, farms, quiet forests broken by highways, the hum of electricity, the orange glow of city lights from space. Now delete all of it. Every fence, every road, every field, every light. What you're left with isn't just an empty version of today. It's an entirely different planet. One so loud, so dense, so packed with life that you wouldn't recognize a single corner of it. Start with the Sahara. Today it's the largest hot desert on Earth. 9 million square kilometers of sand, rock, and heat. One of the most hostile places a human being can stand. 10,000 years ago, it was a green savanna. Rivers ran through it. Lakes sat in what are now sand dunes. Hippos swam in waters that dried up thousands of years before the first pyramid was built. Early human communities lived there, fished there, painted on its cave walls. Images of swimming people, cattle, crocodiles. Those paintings still exist, hidden in rock faces in what is now the middle of the Sahara Desert, thousands of kilometers from the nearest water. The fossilized bones of crocodiles have been found buried beneath the sand. Ancient riverbeds, invisible to the eye, show up in radar imagery beneath the dunes. Ghost rivers that haven't carried water in 5,000 years. The Green Sahara wasn't an anomaly. It was the normal state of the planet during a period called the African Humid Period, driven by shifts in Earth's orbital cycle. The desert we know today is the exception, not the rule. The forests. In what is now Western Europe, ancient woodland was so dense that early humans often couldn't walk straight through it. The trees were older, larger, more tangled than anything in a modern national park. Aurochs, the wild ancestors of domestic cattle, standing 1.8 meters at the shoulder, with horns spanning 2 meters, moved through this forest like living walls. In North America, forests stretched from the Atlantic coast to the Mississippi without interruption. Passenger pigeons moved through them in flocks so enormous they blocked out the sun for hours. A single flock in 1866 was estimated at 3.5 billion birds, more than all bird species in North America combined today. The last passenger pigeon died in a zoo in 1914. In what is now the Middle East, the cradle of human civilization, now largely arid, dense cedar forests once covered the mountains of Lebanon and Syria. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest stories ever written, describes a terrifying journey into these forests. They were so vast, so old, so impenetrable, that ancient peoples believed gods lived inside them. We cut them down. The animals. This is what your ancestors actually shared the planet with. Cave lions, 25% larger than modern African lions. They hunted across Europe and Asia and competed with early humans for the same caves. Some of the earliest art ever made, paintings on cave walls in France and Spain, depicts cave lions hunting. Cave bears, 500 kilograms, taller than a modern grizzly when standing. They hibernated in the same caves humans needed for shelter, which meant every autumn was a negotiation over living space between a family of early humans and an animal that weighed as much as a small car. In the Americas, short-faced bears stood 6 feet at the shoulder, taller than any bear alive today, and could run down prey across open grassland. Direwolves hunted in packs. Saber-toothed cats ambushed prey with canines longer than your hand. Ground sloths, 10 feet long, walking on their knuckles across North and South America, larger than modern elephants. Slow, but protected by bony plates called osteoderms embedded in their skin, a natural armor that made them nearly impossible to kill. Glyptodonts, armadillos the size of Volkswagen Beetles. Armored shells so thick that early humans may have used the shells as shelters after the animals died. Megalania, a monitor lizard 7 meters long, twice the size of a Komodo dragon, still alive when humans first reached Australia 50,000 years ago. It ambushed prey from riverbanks. It could swallow a human whole. And mammoths, everywhere. As common as cattle, moving in herds across Siberia, Alaska, Europe, and China. The last mammoths on Earth, a dwarf population on Wrangel Island in the Arctic Ocean, survived until 4,000 years ago. The Egyptian pyramids had already been standing for 500 years. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Everywhere humans arrived, Africa, Europe, the Americas, Australia, the Pacific Islands, the large animals disappeared within a few thousand years. In Australia, 46 of the 50 largest animal species went extinct within a few thousand years of human arrival. In North America, 34 out of 37 genera of large mammals vanished in the same window humans arrived from Asia across the Bering Land Bridge. In New Zealand, which humans didn't reach until around 1280 AD, the giant moa, a flightless bird 3 meters tall, was extinct within 200 years of first contact. The timing is too consistent to ignore. Climate change played a role. It always does. But climate had fluctuated many times before without this level of extinction. The new variable, the only new variable, was us. The world before humans wasn't a paradise. It was dangerous and brutal and entirely indifferent to our survival. But it was full of megafauna that had spent millions of years evolving into their ecosystems. Full of sounds and densities of life we can barely imagine now. The night sky was bright enough to cast shadows. Rivers ran through deserts. Forests breathed. We inherited a living planet. And very quickly, very efficiently, we began quieting it. The world we live in today, the one that feels normal, that feels like just the way things are, is the pale, emptied, tamed version. What came before was something else entirely. And it's gone.